Alright, y'all. AEW Dynamite review for November 16, 2022. For a go-home show, this is pretty fucking average. Not really much of a build for maybe outside of 2 or 3 matches. So yeah, usually go-home shows are supposed to kill it in there last week before the pay-per-view. Anyways, at the first match, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Cesaro and Bryan Danielson to start the show. Cesaro and Bryan hit elbows on Guevara and Jericho. Then Cesaro hit a delayed suplex on Guevara. And then Danielson hit a running drop kick on Guevara. Jericho hit Bryan with the baseball bat while the ref was checking on Guevara. And then Jericho and Guevara hit a double suplex on Bryan. And then Daniel hit a clothesline on Jericho. Cesaro tags in. He hits multiple uppercuts on Jericho in the corner. And then Cesaro hit a springboard uppercut on Jericho for a near fall. Jericho locks in the walls of Jericho. Bryan lands up a drop kick from the top rope on Jericho to break it up. Bryan hit the yes kicks on Guevara, and then he applied the crossface. Sammy got to the ropes, and then Sammy hit a RKO off the ropes on Bryan. Jericho hit a line salt. Cesaro broke up the pin. And then Cesaro threw Guevara into the air and hit an uppercut. That shit looked fucking nasty. And then Cesaro did his famous giant swing spot on Chris Jericho. And Jericho was holding the bat while he was in the air. And then Cesaro locked in the sharpshooter and Jericho tapped out. Solid opening match for this card. Next up, we got Anthony Bowens versus Swerve Strickland in a one-on-one match. Before the match starts, they showed the music video for Acclaimed. It was kind of hilarious. They had some 2 people playing, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland in the video, and they just like beat the shit out of him during the video, I guess. It was hilarious. And then also Billy Gunn jumped Swerve before the match started, and then him and Max Caster got sent to the back after all that. So there's nobody at ringside. Swerve hit a drop kick, and then Swerve hit a pump kick off the apron, and then Swerve threw Bowens into the crowd. And then back from commercial break, Bowens hit a running elbow. Swerve hit a brainbuster, and then Swerve hit a double stomp from the top rope. Swerve picked him up and slammed him down for the win. Not sure what his move's called, but yeah, that was his finishing move. And then we got a segment with Tony Schiavone in the ring. Samoa Joe comes out. And then Samoa Joe says, "You state it's a shocker what I did to Wardlow. Is it shocking for a man to refuse to be a victim? Is it shocking hearing somebody want something from you and you take it for face value and you take action? Is that shocking, Tony Schiavone?" And then Tony Schiavone says, "When you put it that way, no." And then Joe says, "Is it shocking week after week Wardlow ran his mouth and failed to recognize the most dangerous man in the room for that mistake? He paid the ultimate price." And he says, "I refuse to wait around and be a victim like people sitting in this building tonight. If anybody has a problem with it, they can take it up with me." So now Powerhouse Hobbs comes out and he says, "You're a little bit late to the party. I've been the one kicking Wardlow's ass for the past several weeks." And then, so he's about to attack Samoa Joe. And then Wardlow's music hits and Wardlow comes out. It takes him a few seconds to come out. And he eventually comes through the crowd, jumps over the barricade, and he starts attacking Joe. And then all 3 of them brawl in the ring. The entire locker room comes out to stop them. And that was pretty much it for that segment. Segment in the back with Britt Baker. She's by herself. She says, "4 times Saraya, you told me I don't have what it takes to be a star. You told everyone I've only been on TV for 3 years. In those 3 years, I went from a nervous, happy to be here girl to a confident face of the company. In 3 years, I became a leader. As a leader, you take all the blame when everyone else receives it. In 3 years, I became my own role model. I took an opportunity and I ran with it until I became undeniable. until every fan says it with me. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And then she says, I didn't wrestle in MSG. I wrestled in Daly's place for over a year. When the fans couldn't come to us, we were there for them. And then she says, we kept the fire of pro wrestling burning. That's an era you'll never know. She says, I respect you. You fought addiction and won. I respect you came back from a neck injury. This business owes you nothing. And then she says, you're not going to belittle my accomplishments, my blood, sweat, and tears, because you're stuck in the past. I'm the heart, soul, and pulse of AEW. You think you're above that, you can get out. I'm just talking shit more, I guess, from Britt Baker. Next up, we got Death Triangle versus Top Flight and AR Fox. I've never heard of this guy, AR Fox. And Dante Martin's brother's back from injury, Darius Martin. This is for the Trios Championship. Top Flight tossed Pac into the air. And then AR Fox hit an RKO. Death Triangle hit a triple drop kick on AR Fox back from the break. AR Fox hit a flipping rock bottom and a 450 splash on Ray Phoenix. And then Pac hit the Black Arrow for the win. After the match, Pac says, if there are certain individuals in this company who think they can make their triumphant return at Full Gear, if they think they can mosey in and best the Death Triangle, well, that's ridiculous. And then they show a graphic on the screen, Death Triangle, and then there's like a mystery opponent, and then a few seconds later, it shows the Elite. So Young Bucks and Kenny Omega coming back for their return at Full Gear. They're probably going to win the Trios titles. Got a segment in the back with Ricky Starks. He says he wasn't medically cleared because of an attack by Lance Archer. You love to attack people, and so do I. I don't do ifs, ands, or maybes. I talk an absolute. Rampage, I'm going to beat you. So they're going to have their quarterfinal match on Friday tomorrow. And then, yeah, so it should be Ricky Starks in the finals. He's probably going to wrestle 3 matches in like 2 days then. Stupid. We got next up Ethan Page versus Bandito. Semifinal in the tournament. Bandito hit a suplex back from the break. Bandito stood on the ring post while he hit a moonsault on the outside. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Somebody standing up, or he goes onto the ring post and does a moonsault. And then in the back of the ring, Page hit an RKO for a 2 count. Bandito hit a frog splash for a near fall, and then Page hit the Razor's Edge for the win. It was a solid match. It took about halfway through the match for it to start getting good. And then there's a segment in the back with Saraya and Renee Paquette. Saraya says she feels lucky to be in the ring. She's sick of the back and forth with Britt Baker. She says, I'll see you at Full Gear. Next up, we got Toni Storm versus Anna Jay in a eliminator title. What the fuck it's called? Title eliminator match. Anna hit a backstabber, and back from the break, Toni Storm hit a hip attack, sending Anna to the outside. Anna Jay threw Toni Storm into the steps. Back in the ring, Storm applied the Texas Cloverleaf, and Anna Jay tapped out right away. Next up, we got the last segment. Jon Moxley comes out with William Regal. He says, they say the championship doesn't make the man makes the championship. And he says he is the best professional wrestler on earth. He says he talks shit and backs it up. He has defined the AEW world title. He is sick in the head, pain and the adrenaline. You can't hurt me. I scout my opponents. I do a little research. He has one win in the ring in the last 6 months. He took a summer vacation, came back with a Halloween mask, and then somebody handed him a poker chip. And he says that was the worst ending to a ladder match he's ever seen. And he got a shot at the world title. Maybe he doesn't live up to the hype. MJF is not challenging me. I'm challenging him. And then he says, show me you got guts. And then the Firm comes out to attack John Moxley and William Regal. And then MJF, he comes out and he just cleans house and beats the shit out of the firm. And then MJF says, I did not save your ass, Moxley, because I like you. I saved you because I didn't want anybody in your fan club making excuses for you. Want to knock your lights clean out. No Dynamite diamond ring necessary. Ain't that right, Will? And then he gets right in Will Regal's face when he says that. And then he backs up and then he says, I'm not the same kid when we fought for that gold. They fought about 2 years ago during the pandemic. It says, you can make me bleed buckets. I need that belt more. I need that belt more than I need food, water, and oxygen. When you're the champion, it makes you the best wrestler on earth. I heard you last week when you said, I'm not the devil. And then he says, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. And then he says, because I am the devil himself. So they've been going on about this devil stuff for about 2 to 3 weeks now. So we'll see. Not sure what he's talking about. He's bringing up the devil. Maybe he's probably going to cheat to win. That's my guess. Yeah, that should be the best match on Full Gear. So yeah, that was pretty much it for Dynamite. See you guys.